Hello, welcome to this tutorial. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to calculate variances, but this time around, I'm focusing on variances when the examiner has already given you the variances and then the examiner requires you to work backwards, okay? So we call this kind of variance as working what? Working backwards, okay? So I have the example here which I'm going to read to you. The material price variance for the month of January was $2,000 favorable, and the usage variance was 450 favorable. Okay. The standard material usage is 6 kg per unit, meaning it requires 6 kg to make 1 unit. Then the standard material price is $3 per kg. 600 units were produced in the period. What were the material purchases in the period? Okay, so we need to choose the material purchases from these options A, B, C, and D. Now this is how we work out this one. We're looking for material purchases, and mostly material purchases is found when we are calculating material purchases is in the computation for material usage variance. So let me demonstrate. So material usage variance, material usage variance. How do we calculate material usage variance? Okay, this is how we calculate material usage variance. First, we have the standard what? Kgs. The standard kgs are the kgs that we could have used to produce 600 units. I did not say what we used. What could have been used to produce 600 units if we start to the standard where we are saying it requires 6 kg to produce 1 unit. Okay, so the standard units is actually 6 kg itself multiplied by the units produced here, which is 600. 600 units were produced. So for us to produce 600 units, we could have used, not what we used, we could have used 3,600 kgs if we followed the standard, okay? But then we are looking for what we actually used, actual usage in terms of kgs. That's what the examiner is looking for. So that one, we do not know it. So if we do not know it, we'll put, say maybe X here. We don't know it, okay? And then we've been told to say the variance itself was material usage. I'm dealing with material usage and not material price because what I'm looking for is the actual usage, and it's easier to use the usage format to get to the actual materials which were used. So now here, what it is when we're finding variances in this manner, we'll multiply the standard, we'll subtract the standard and we'll find the difference between the standard and the actual usage to get the variance, because we want to see what we could have used and what we actually used. What is the difference, okay? Now we have variance here in terms of kgs. In terms of kgs, that variance I equally don't know it, okay? What I know is the variance in terms of money. Now to get the variance in terms of money, what we basically do is we have what we call as the standard material price, standard price in dollars, okay? So the standard price in dollars is actually $3 per kg, okay? So I have my $3 here. I'm multiplying this $3, I'm multiplying it by Y, which I do not know, for me to get the final variance, which is the variance now in dollars, which is $450 favorable. So for me to reach here, if you understand basic material usage variances, for me to reach here, I actually multiplied this, the Y, which is the difference between the kgs, the standard kgs, what we could have used, and the actual kgs which we actually used. we found the difference here, which is this one, and then for us to get to here, we multiply this with our standard price to get the variance in monetary terms, because this variance is in kgs, is in quantity of materials used, the difference of the materials which were used and those that we were supposed to use. So now, with this in mind, I'll try to target to get first this one because it's easier. I can simply say the 3 here was multiplied by the y for me to get the 450. So I can find y by simply dividing both sides by 3. Okay, and my y is actually 150 here. So I know to say here actually what is here is actually the 150. Okay, 150 what? Favorable. All right. So now if I know to say it's a 150 here, which is here, then I can tell the actual usage. All right, because what we are getting is basically the difference between 3,600 minus x to give us the what? The 150. Now, one thing that as a student you need to understand carefully is what type of a variance do you have? Do you have an adverse variance or a favorable variance? What you have is the favorable variance. All right. So if we have a favorable variance, this simply entails that the standard usage, which is what we could have used, is more than what we actually used. We used less than what we were supposed to use. All right. So if we use less than what we are supposed to use, meaning the answer which should be here should be lower than or should be less than 36 kgs. So it should be lower than 36 kgs. But if the variance was adverse, meaning we actually used more than we were supposed to use, meaning what could have been here should be more than 600 kgs. But now the variance itself is favorable, meaning we used less by what? 150. So less by 150 from 36 will be 36 minus 150. That's 3450 kgs. That is what we actually used. Okay, so 36 minus 3450 gave us the 150 there, and the 150 will multiply by 3 gave us 450 there. So you remember how I came about this, where I didn't know, I was just putting x and y, and then I did the formatting, and then I understood to say for me to get the 450, I multiplied $3 multiplied by the difference in kgs to give me that. So $3 multiplied by the difference in kgs, which is the y that I didn't know. I know the 150 now, I brought it here. Now if I know this one, I'm able to tell what this was. So what it basically means that the correct answer should have actually been answer C. Okay, so that was the material purchases in the period. So this is how you basically compute such kind of a variance where you are working backwards.